Good morning, friends, followers, and channel members. Happy Monday! Is it ever a happy Monday? It is when we're sat here in the glorious sunshine on the ramp at Santiago. Santiago, Spain, of course, not Santiago, Chile. Good morning, everyone. Not often we have a Monday morning flight. In fact, I think it's probably been not since we did the long haul flights and the mileage Mondays that we had an early morning Monday morning flight. Normally we do a stream on a Monday afternoon if time permits. Time is not going to permit for me today, so we're going to try and squeeze one in this morning. Flight around an hour and 15 minutes, I think, in total flight time, from Santiago down to Malaga. Now, the fun thing about Malaga is probably one of the most popular airports that everyone wants to go and land at in Microsoft Flight Simulator, probably because most people have probably been on holiday there in real life. But if the winds have got you landing on runway 12, or is it 13 this morning? Hang on, operational flight plan is just coming into the chat, so I can pin that. So we're going to be landing today, runway 12. So if the winds are having you land on runway 12, as they are today, then you need to just be aware of the terrain that is beneath you, and it can be a little bit of a gotcha if you're not careful. You can end up being too high, too fast, not being able to slow down on the approach. So we're going to try and navigate that for you on this flight into Malaga. As I say, it's a very popular destination, so looking forward to a nice chilled out Monday morning flight. Keep you guys company whilst you're either waking up, working from home, or of course if you are at the other side of the world in Australia, New Zealand, then you will have just got home. So good morning to everyone in the chat already. We've got Dog Fury, Dave Butler, Chill Out Flight Channel, good morning. Danny Rubble, good morning. That is indeed a wonderful KLM Orange Pride livery. 7,000 feet over the house, bet that was loud. Talia Johnson, good morning. Lookerman 79 UK, and Brian Crawley as well. Good to see you. DC Gert, good morning. You're off to work in about an hour. We'll probably be midway through the cruise at that point, DC. Lewis Aviation, good morning to you as well. Danny, do we have the free scenery from Malaga as one of the runways isn't modelled? I do. Funnily enough, since the SIM update, World update, another reason why we're here in Spain again today, I just wondered if the airport at Malaga had actually been fixed by default. You would have thought if doing a World update to Spain that Malaga would be a key airport for them to ensure they've gotten right. If anyone knows the answer to that, please do let me know. Makes good morning to you as well. Right, as you can see, baggage handlers are doing their job. We're going to get on board, and we are cold and dark this morning. We are cold and dark, and we are sat on the ramp at Santiago Airport. We are on VATSIM as well, but we're on our own, which, to be honest, isn't completely unsurprising, is it? Here, first thing on a Monday morning. So let's go and get on board, shall we? We are in the new experimental version of the A32NX from FlyByWire. Such an amazing aircraft. It really, really is. So we'll have VNAV to contend with as well. So we're just going to make sure that everything's where we expect it to be before we power the aircraft up. Nothing's in a daft place. Things like the gear lever, you technically want to always make sure that that's in the downward position before powering the aircraft up, for obvious reasons. Rose15069 on Twitch, good morning to you. Danny says, yeah, he doesn't know if it's not included in World Update 8, then you'd need to update the freeware. Well, we'll have the freeware in anyway, so that's okay. Mr. P222, good day to you. Flybywire's flying beautifully. Can't wait to get it back on stream this week. It is indeed fantastic. And Aussie Simvation, good evening from Sydney. Keep up the great videos, and you love them. Nathan, thank you so much for your kind words. And at least you can sit back and chill Monday evening. This is a much better time, I'm aware of that, for those of you who are in Australia for our streams, rather than, of course, when we do stream sometimes late at night, then middle of the night for you guys, not so good. Barry Bartson, good morning. Right, everything looks fine and dandy there, doesn't it? Let's get the aircraft powered up then. So voltage is all fine. Let's connect the external power. I have recently as well just sort of readjusted the sounds in the mix. So let me know if the background music's too loud, or the engines from the aircraft are too loud, or if everything's perfect. That'd be nice to know as well. So let's do the overhead flows. Crew supply, ground control, CRV test. First flight of the day, of course. Bramish EU, good morning. Thank you for coming on board. Nav lights and seatbelt signs, standby signs, packs off to begin with. Drinny, good morning to you. APU fire test. That's good. Engine 1 and engine 2. It's a very alarming, repetitive beep, that, isn't it? But I guess that's the whole point. Let's just get a little bit of light as well. It's a bright day. We probably don't need the overhead lighting on, but it looks nice. Barry, would love to get a screenshot of your sound settings in the options of the sim. To be honest, Barry, I've not really touched those so much. I'm on about the general settings for the stream, so let me know if that's not sounding as good as it used to. Right, let's get our new and updated flypad turned on. Apologies as well if I'm sounding a little bit bunged up. That's because, well, I am. Oh, look at this. Now, everything's automatically imported. I haven't had to import my SimBrief data. It is just there. It's waiting for me in this beautifully laid out new settings. I cannot commend FlyByWire enough for this. I think it is absolutely stunning. Fantastic. Everything's just there. It's we really can start to use this more now than previously. Right, so there we go. That's our flight route today, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and get that all set up in a moment. First thing I want to do, I want to go through the FP, and I want to have a look and see what fuel we're going to take as well. Miss P, did you get Navigraph working? Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was a stupid mistake, wasn't it, in the video regarding the new tablet. Navigraph was always working. It was always working. I had just not realised that actually. In fact, where are the charts? There. Failed to establish the connection. Let's just retry that for Navigraph. There we go. Yeah, I had just completely failed to work out that I was actually already logged in, so I didn't need to. I was looking for the ICO, not the ICO code, the QR code to log in and that. But FlyByWire now made it so you don't have to do that anymore. Once you've logged in, it's saved, it's stored, and that's it. So really, really good. Metam D, warm welcome from Turkey, Istanbul. That is an airport which I don't think I've ever flown to, but one that I do want to. So that would be. That's on the to-do list, I promise. So we can go in now and we can pin these charts, which would be nice. So we've got the parking stands. There it is. So we want to get that pinned, of course, and the general airport charts. And our departure is the 402 Alpha today, so I'm going to pin that one as well. And they're just great. We've got pin charts. Should be. Well, that's interesting. Are they not on the pin charts? Should we look for? Hang on. There we go. Now we can jump straight to it. Fantastic. Beautiful thing. Anyway, more about that a little bit later on. Let's get the operational flight plan, shall we? See what fuel we're going to take. This now fills the screen, so this is nice. So we're quite heavy today. We've got just under 18 tons of cargo, headwind of 22, slowing us down, of course. Cost index of 4. Almira is our alternate. Turbulence should be okay. We've got plug fuel of 4.8 tons. Let's just now check the moors as we go. So there's a little terrain around Melon. But other than that, should be fine. Let's have a look. We've got the weather here. It is fine for the departure. We've got ILS approach in Malaga. Great weather all round. No reason why we shouldn't be able to get in there. Let's just come down and check the forecast. So winds 130 at 7. It's almost a direct headwind for the arrival. Nothing really that concerns me. Rains and thunderstorms later on in the day. Again, it doesn't concern me. So really, I don't think we've got any issues coming in to Malaga today. there's our flight route. You can see a little bit of weather to the south and to the west as we're flying, but we're avoiding that quite nicely today. Paul Newman, good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well. Yeah, absolutely. Should be a really nice, clear flight for us today. So, plug fuel. Well, we don't normally take plug fuel. I don't know. It's quite rare to take exactly what's listed on here. We always tend to take a little bit more, but I can't see any reason why we can't take just 5 tons. And I think 5 tons is going to be absolutely fine for us. So, let's ask the refuelers to load in 5 tons of fuel, real time, and refueling is now started. Paul, yeah, it's class, isn't it, that FlyPad version? Really, really neat. Let's just go back, actually, and grab me the QNH, which here is 1018. Now we can go through and carry on setting up. We've done the APU fire test, so let's go ahead and start that. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Alright, 1018 for the standby. That's all done. Anti-skid's fine. We're on Unicom. Audio control panel is all set and fine. Flight deck door is open. Spoilers are retracted. Masters, switches, switching panel is fine. Thrust levers, engine masters. Parking brake is set. Flaps, spoilers, and we'll just pop the standby to 2000. Do you know what would be really neat is if the cold and dark setup, if you sort of came in and just occasionally there was a switch not quite in the right place. Maybe the cleaners have been overnight and knocked an engine starter switch or something daft like that. So it's definitely worth, you really do have to check. I mean, we're going through these flows just because it's what we would do normally in the real aircraft. But you know that because it's a simulator, everything's going to be in the right place. You're not going to have a flaps lever just dislodged slightly like that. But it would be neat, wouldn't it, if sometimes things weren't perfect. Pizza Chips, when the 737 comes out, will you fly the 737 more than the A320? Oh, God, no. If it's Boeing, I ain't going. Let's come up then to the FCU. I'll turn up a bit of brightness there. Our initial climb out today, according to the chart, I think is flight level 100, so let's go ahead and set that. Flight directors are on 1018 on the QNH. Pop on the constraints as well. Let's get those screens turned up. A little bit of a chat going on with people regarding the brightness of these screens. They do seem a little bit darker following this update. It just means we have to squint a little bit more. Is that APU running? Yeah, APU bleeding. Come on, just give that a minute before we allow the passengers on board. Okay, all is looking well there. Okay, time to turn up the brightness of the McDo, which again is also a little bit dark. Let's bring up the operational flight plan and we shall put in the information from it. Yeah, still sounding rather bunged up, so I apologise if I'm coughing and spluttering away. According to recent testing, it is just a cold. Let's get the AOC menu up and the init press so we can get the information from SimBrief. There is 1 hour 15 minutes our flight time today. Weights and balance pages, let's send that off and we shall start the boarding process. Has that been a minute or so since the bleed was running? Yes, we can get those packs on. It's now safe for our passengers to get on board. Okay, so boarding has started. Let's do the data checks. So IRS, we have 3 nav green, aircraft status, LEAP engines, valid AirX cycle, all is fine there. Init page. Let's get our ACARS uplinked request, see what we've got. The alternate is Almira. Let's get that typed in. Lima Echo Alpha Mike. Call sign is Alpine 34 Alpha Mike, not a real world flight this one, which is why we're using our default call sign. Flight level 380 and minus 62 is the temperature. Tropo is 37691. Ground temperature's now modelled as well. That's interesting. Can we change that? Because according to the outside temperature in the upper right hand corner, it's 14. So there we go. Make sure they match. Jackos JRL on Twitch. How do you smoothly transition from one cockpit camera from one view to the other? So I use custom views to do that. You can download these views as well. They're in our Discord server. You can download those in the pilot's briefing room, and there's also a video on the channel showing you where to install them. It literally will take you 30 seconds, and then all you need to do to move between the views is use the Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3, Alt 4, etc. to switch between those. Or of course you can set them to a key binding on your side stick, which is what I've done, so you can flick between them, which is nice. Mr. P, what's the software you use for the McDo on the tablet or mobile? It's just a web browser. I think this is the Petal web browser that I've got on mine. It seems to work quite nicely. Again, thanks to FlyByWire for the work they've done there. Right, on to our flight plan. So we're going to be departing from runway 17, the 402 Alpha departure. And let's just scroll through, see what we've got there. We've got a discontinuity, however that's for the arrival. That makes sense because we need to add in the star at the other end. So ILS 12, is it ILS 12? Yeah, ILS 12 Zulu, let's pop that in. And it's going to be the Vulp 2 Kilo arrival. Right down at the bottom, there it is. And our VIA is Omigo today. Insert. So that's a distance 454 miles, 457 miles in the OFP. That is close enough. Callum, hello to you. Can you advise what the tropo is? So tropo is just short for the tropopause. It's basically an inversion layer in the atmosphere where anything above that you usually get no weather. Best thing you can do, Callum, actually, is Google it for a much better explanation with diagrams and things. It's also the level at which the temperature starts to go up with altitude rather than down, which is a little bit strange, isn't it? But yeah, that's all it is. So the tropopause, usually above that, you have very smooth weather. Paul, you love the camera views in the Discord. Ah, thank you, Paul. Hope you're finding them. Jay White, the operational flight plan I use is the EasyJet flight plan. Which would make sense on this channel, I guess. So yeah, it's the easy layout that I use. Right, let me just go through, check all of that's looking good, and we haven't got any discontinuities. No, none at all. I'm also going to then just bring up the... see, this is one thing that you can't do, or I can do, but you wouldn't be able to see. So I do have Navigraph opened up here, so we can just check that we have got... so we're there. We've got Stig 4. It actually says Stig 5 here. So at 5 miles, we would then make a left turn to intercept the 126 radial, which then takes us straight out to Forno. Let's check what that looks like on the navigation map. Right, so as you can see, that's not perfectly accurate, so we may hand fly that a little bit. So what we should do is we should depart and then fly heading 086, so we could almost hand fly that then to intercept that radial outbound from Santiago VOR. To be fair, it's not bad. I could quite happily leave that in managed mode and it'll fly that quite nicely. So yeah, that's okay as long as we're aware. Always put that back to arc and set it to 10 or 20, otherwise predictive wind shear doesn't work for departure. We've also got a little restriction there as well on takeoff, but we'll do a brief in a moment to go through all that. And so let's just bring that back in. So on the RadNav page, I'm going to pop in the Santiago VOR, which is STG. There we go. That's also our engine out holding point, so I'm also going to add a fix for that. Sierra Tango Golf. And we want an inbound track of 348 if we have to enter the hold, so the reciprocal of that is 168. So let's pop that in as well. There we go. That's the Radnav page done. Okay, in it B. Let's see. So we have got a 0 fuel weight of 60.5 and a 0 fuel weight C of G is 24.4. Trip wind is a headwind of 22. And now, just check we got that 5 tons of fuel on. Indeed we do. Let's pop that in. Oh no, not 50. We can't get that much fuel on. Takeoff weight then, 65.3 will be conservative, and we'll pop in 65.5 as our... we'll pop that into the performance calculator shortly. And onto the performance page then. Right, let's bring up SimSmart. Good news, guys. SimSmart should be released this week, barring any major problems. So looking forward to getting this out. There will of course be news on the channel when it does get released and in the Discord server, so stay tuned for that. Christian Toko, good morning. J-Hog, you're on the way to Edinburgh. Is it cold and snowy up there? So, Santiago, runway 17 for the departure. Get that METAR. 140 at 8, outside air temperature 15, and the QNH is 1018. Dry, anti-ice will be off. Takeoff weight, what did I say? 65.5 we were going to use. Takeoff CFG is forward in the aircraft at the moment. Flex, config 1, and off. Now, this is interesting. If we calculate that, we've got flex 69. Yeah, that all those values look fine. However, if I want to have a shorter taxi, let's see if we can enter a manual runway. Oh, I need to restart SimSmart to for that change to take effect. 1 second. So, we are quite heavy today, so I might not be able to do an intersection departure, but we're going to try it. 65.5. I say we're quite heavy. We're not that heavy, but the intersection departure is quite short, so let's see. If we wanted to depart from intersection Echo 2, we've got a takeoff run available then of Echo 2 is 1826. So, can we do that? Will it allow it? It will, but it will perhaps be more prudent to use config 2 for that. Go on then. We can take the shorter departure, and we'll take flaps 2. So let's get all that information in. We've got a VR is 127. Sorry, V1 is 127. VR is 130. V2 is 134. I really do like this piece of software. Very easy to use, very automatic, and it seems to be just working, which is the standard we wanted to get it to before we released it. RD Mans 2 is a new pushback feature in the FB buggy for everyone, even if the at the lowest speed it kind of stutters. So, have you got any mods, RD Mans 2, particularly the pushback mod, toolbar pushback? If you've got that in, I think it interferes with it, so you do need to remove that. Christian, it's a nice stream to get you through the working day. Might do a cheeky Barcelona to Bilbao in the afternoon when work starts winding down. That sounds good to me, mate. Thrust reduction acceleration here is 2167. So when SimSmart is released, all of these engine out procedures and engine out acceleration, thrust reduction, etc., they're not going to be in for every single airport. We're going to make sure the major ones are in there, but what we are going to do is continue to update it over time. It's a very time-consuming thing, popping all those in. So we are going to release it with most of them in, most of the big major airports in, and then the smaller ones we will add over time. Why was that out of range? Did I enter that incorrectly? Oh, it would help if my fat fingers typed the right dials, wouldn't it? 2167. There we go. It's rounded up anyway. 2170 for the engine out as well. So we're going flaps 2 today, and the flex is 51. Donny, should we release this week? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Jim, will SimSmart be usable within a VR cockpit without removing the headset? Well, it is just a Windows program, basically, Jim. So it depends how you've got everything everything set up. Right, so that's all done. Okay, so let's start doing our brief. How are we doing with passengers? Oh, we've only got 5 passengers remaining, so it shouldn't be long. So the weather here in Santiago is beautiful. Nothing really to concern us there. Look at that, blue skies this morning. Our takeoff weight is below the maximum landing weight, so getting back in here is no issue. The no times to be aware of, and threats. We do have a little bit of terrain actually on departure. Nothing that should cause us any serious issues unless we've got things like a complete engine failure. But as you can see, we've got terrain which starts to grow in size as we depart. But again, we're going to be well clear. Max minimum safe altitude is 5,500 feet. So we're going to push back from stand. Where are we? We're at stand 23. We're going to push back facing north on Tango, taxi to Echo 2. We'll depart at Echo 2. The Fauna to Alpha. There is a max speed of 220 knots in that first turn. So we can fly clean because clean speed is 216. But let's just pop in a pre-select of 216. We may as well fly at green dot rather than burning the extra fuel. So all of that's in. Everything looks good, well and coded. Only other threat to be aware of is I'm not feeling 100% and I'm unfamiliar with the airport, but it looks like a nice straightforward easy taxi, doesn't it? So we shouldn't get lost. Famous last words. Right, I think they said everyone was all loaded now, which is good. Refueling is complete as well, so we can get the fuel pumps on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our EasyJet service. Please place your large bags into the overhead locker, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you. These include laptops, handbags, duty-free and loose items of clothing. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please take your seat. To help us ensure a prompt departure, we would kindly ask that you keep the aisle clear, enabling all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready for departure. This is a no smoking service. Thank you for observing this policy.
Excellent.
Okay, so let's run the before start checklist to the line. So, cockpit preparation is complete, signs are on an auto. Ideas, we've got 3 nad green, fuel quantity is 5 tons balanced, the FMGS is set, altimeter is 1018, and we have 1200 feet. So if we're all happy with that, let's just do a quick emergency brief as well. So standard Airbus emergency brief here. It's a non-standard engine out procedure here. So if something goes bang after V1, we're going to fly to 7 miles from Sierra Tango Golf. And then we're going to make a left-hand turn to come back and hold at the Sierra Tango Golf VOR. The inbound track is 348, and so basically we're going to fly on this this blue line, and then we'll hold at a sensible altitude, 5,000 feet. Okay, let's get the ground crew into position. And we'll pre-plan our push. Not a very big pushback, this one. Not by a long way. Very short pushback, to be honest. There we go. That looks a bit convoluted, that line there, but I'm sure it'll do a good job. Do you actually have a tug pushing us back? Oh yeah, there he is. He's down there.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
I love the fact we've got these pin charts here. So we've got the taxi charts. We'll just get that up, and that's there. We can zoom in so we know where we're going. Pushing back from stand 2-3. Matthew Griff, you're flying in real life with EasyJet for the first time on Thursday. Any tips from a seasoned veteran? Enjoy. That's all I'm going to tell you. Enjoy. And pray for good weather.
We are cleared for start and push.
And short queues at the airport. Okay, so are we on Unicom? Yes, we are. Is ATC still offline? Yes, it is. So let's make a Unicom call. Santiago, traffic, Alpine 34 Alpha Mike, pushing back from stand 2-3, facing north on Tango. So that's our taxi clearance. Let's get the beacon light on. Acupressure's in the green, nose wheel steering is disconnected, set transponder, we'll release the parking brake and start the timer.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
Matthew, that is indeed a new flypad. It is wonderful. So ergonomic to use. Alright, let's get these engines started. So, starting engine mode selector to start and starting engine 1. My word, this tug driver is in a rush.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask for your attention while we take you through the safety procedures on this aircraft. A safety card is in your seat pocket showing the exit routes, oxygen masks, life jackets and brace position that you must adopt if you hear brace, brace. There are 2 emergency exits at the rear, 4 in the middle, and 2 at the front of the cabin. Floor lighting will guide you to an exit. Please be aware that your nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, leave all cabin baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released as shown. It must be fastened when the seatbelt signs are on, and we recommend that you keep it fastened at all times. If the air supply fails, masks will drop from above you. Pull a mask towards you to start the oxygen.
And starting engine 2.
Put the mask over your nose and mouth.
Startup is complete.
Hold in place with the strap. Pull on each side to adjust. Put on your own mask before helping others.
Holding position waiting.
Kill Dead Red 10, thank you so much, sir, for the bits. Really do appreciate that. Hope you're having a fine Monday morning.
Around your waist click together and pull the strap to adjust. Do not inflate it inside the aircraft. When outside, inflate by pulling the toggle. If it fails to inflate or needs topping up, blow into the tube. There is a light and whistle for attracting attention. We also carry flotation aids for children. Your tray table must now be stowed, armrest down, window blinds open.
Good
and
morning,
seatbelt
HD.
fastened.
Lurking as ever.
Pleasant flight
No,
with
where have we
EasyJet.
pushed back to? We're on double yellows. We can't park here. I may have pre-planned the pushback, not quite far enough. Looking at that. Killdead Reddit said, my Monday is fine. I've got the place to myself. The kids are out. The wife's out. Which is why we're streaming instead of working. Yeah, we should actually be on this line over here. Matthew, the Takeoff performance calculator that is available at the moment, there are a few. I've tried them all, and yeah, they're not very good, not very realistic. But no worries. By the end of this week, SimSmart will be released, and this is this is very accurate. Right, engine number 2 is stabilised, so we're all good there. Let's do our after start flows. APU bleed coming off, don't need the anti-ice. And on the spoilers, I check the rudder flaps. And our C of G is 24.8. Okay, so after start checklist, anti-ice is off, ECAM status is checked, pitch trim is 24.8, rudder trim is 0. We'll do a flight control check. So full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, rudder's full right, rudder full left, and neutral. Very short taxi, which we've spoken about already, so let's get as many things prepped as we can before we start moving. I'll tell the cabin that they need to sit down as well.
Cabin crew, seat for takeoff, please.
Oh, there's a gotcha. Thank you. We're flying flaps 2, not flaps 1. Now, see, that is a major safety feature of the Airbus, because I don't think, HD will correct me on this, I don't think that was always an option, the TO config. So the fact that it is there now is great, because people like me who just go on automatic pilot, so to speak, and set flaps 1, because we do it so often, even though we've said today we're doing flaps 2 because of the shorter takeoff. It's just a little bit better. It tells you that you've configured it wrong, so it gives you the alert, you get the red text, you get the alarm warning, you think, oh yeah, that's what I did wrong. Right, anyway, now that we've actually done that, we're okay. You would have caught it anyway, because the before takeoff checklist gets you to confirm your flap setting, so hopefully you would have picked it up then, but we've picked it up before that anyway. Let's do the PEDS check, and we're going to start moving then. So, to release the parking brakes. So, we're going to get over onto the right hand side as well, back on that tax line. So, no change to performance. It's going to be a flaps 2, flex 51, QNH 1018. Engine out procedure is non-standard, left hand turn at 7 miles to Sierra Tango Golf hold. Departure is the 402 Alpha, and initial climb is flight level 100. Kill Dead Red said, how do you know what trim to set for takeoff? I will show you once we're airborne. Please remind me again, mate, and I'll let you know. So here we go, Echo 2. Nice to see they've got the correct stands, and because the airport's been updated following the SIM update, sorry, the world update, we've actually got parking stand numbers and correct taxiway signs, so that's nice. This is a default airport. Before takeoff, checklist to the line then. So flight controls have been checked, departure briefing is confirmed, flap setting config 2, FMA and takeoff data is 127 blue, 134 magenta, climb nav blue, 1FD2, 10,000 blue, flex 51, transponder is set, ECAM memo, takeoff no blue, EFB is stored. Okay, so just hold our position here and then we'll check our approach path is fine. Our wheel temperatures, the lower ECAM normally sorts itself out and flips over to that. Oh, there we go, it did it automatically. I'm not sure what the trigger is for that actually, but brake temperatures are fine. Okay, let's line up. Santiago traffic, Alpine 34 Alpha Mike, lining up for departure runway 17402 Alpha departure. And we'll get the TCAS turned on as well. Can anybody hear First Officer George? Not sure what he's going nuts at. Yeah, so as we can see, nice short takeoff today. This will be a real good test of the SimSmart app. will we get airborne? There we go. Okay, so before takeoff checklist below the line, cabin is secured, engine mode selector is normal, TCAS TARA packs are not off. Come on, Gavin, wake up. Packs off, and anti-ice is also off. There we go. Alright, takeoff. Start the chrono and set 50% M1. Engine stable and set takeoff thrust. So man flex, SRS and runway. Checked. And V1 will rotate. The real test of SimSmart would have been, would we have stopped if we tried to brake before V1? And as nav, gear up. Well, those screens really are dark, aren't they? So it's 5 miles before we start that turn. Just following the flight directives for the moment. Oh, there's a bug. We've not set climb thrust. Let's do that manually now, shall we? Or not manually, but now we've set climb thrust. Go flaps 2.
2,500.
There's the terrain we spoke about on the brief. I'll start this turn. I'll arm and get autopilot 1 on. There we go. So we'll clean up. Autopilot 1 engaged. Disarm the spoilers. Temperature's fine. We don't need packs. We don't need anti-ice on. So the speed constraint was just there in that turn. We're now clear to accelerate away. So let's pop that into manage speed. Get through this little cloud layer and then we can release the cabin crew. Doesn't look too bad, to be fair. And with no air traffic control around, let's continue our climb out. We'll set flight level 200 now. We can also see the blue level off arrow has extended as I change the capture altitude to flight level 200. Lights can come off.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelt fastened while the seatbelt sign is on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. Toilets are located at each end of the cabin. Remember that smoking is not permitted at any time. This includes e-cigarettes.
So we're now past 10,000 feet. Let's check the cruise and optimum. So flight level 380 is going to be fine. Let's set flight level 380. 380 blue. Can also go in, clear out the RadNav page. I'll get rid of that. Fix this page as well. We don't need that for the duration of the flight. There we go, that's gone. Okay, happy to release the cabin crew. And to be honest, I think we're going to be happy to release the passengers as well. Should have a nice stable flight today. So let's go ahead and do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has now turned off the seatbelt sign and you are now free to move around the cabin. We do recommend, however, when in your seat, that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times in case of unexpected turbulence. The toilets are now available. Please contact a member of the cabin crew if you require assistance. Thank you.
Okay, so we're now just monitoring the climb. Kill Dead Red said the overlay isn't showing the departure or the arrival. Is it not? That's annoying. I find sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we've departed Santiago and we're off to Malaga. Jim, how have I been finding VNav in managed descent? The main thing with VNav at the moment is just make sure the constraints are correct. Otherwise, it's going to give you a rubbish top of descent indicator. You put rubbish in, you get rubbish out, basically. Matthew also saying, have they made any changes to VNav yet? You appreciate it's early, but the descent calculators for you have been way off. Well, we'll check it out, Matthew. Again, you've got to make sure that it's got all the correct information to be able to calculate stuff like that. If it hasn't got the correct information, then yeah, everything's going to be off. TKC, hello. And remember, VNav really for the climb isn't really a thing. So VNav, it just managed climb just respects the constraints. Really, that's the only major difference. A little bit of cloud coming up. I saw the level off arrow disappear a moment ago. It's now reappeared again as it's recalculate. So that's good. Hitsumi, good morning. Ditazomo and runway 1331 at Malaga with the latest world update. Do you know what? We asked this question a little bit earlier on, and my honest answer is I do not know. If someone does know, I'd love you to answer. I do it not. You love this aircraft, but you've been thinking of getting the A300 or the Beluga for the X-Plane. But the Beluga's awesome, isn't it? Really good. Paul, any ideas when the next stable version of the FlyByWire will be released? I'm afraid I have no idea. Matthew, you know you've got to input the winds, but not sure how to do that correctly. Well, not just the winds. You need to make sure that the constraints that it's got listed in match what we've got on the charts. Otherwise, it's your top of descent is going to be quite out of it. Right. What's the temperature we've got? Go on. Let's pop the anti-ice on for a little bit. HD says, Monday mornings they seem to like runway 12 anyway. Funny Spanish. Well, that's exactly the runway we're planned to land on today, as that's the active runway at the moment. Why have we got engine anti-ice on, but no wing anti-ice? Wing anti-ice is on. It's not showing on the ECAM. Got any system failures that I don't know about? No? So we should be at the top of climbing around about, well, according to the McDo, we should be at the top of climb in around 15 minutes or so. What would we have on the bleed page to check there? HD. We've got anti-ice being tapped off. Yeah, I would have suspected that that is the wing anti-ice. These ones. Maybe it's just an ECAM message that's missing. Shame it's become a little bit cloudy. There's some great terrain down there that we could have seen. Oh, there you go. We're just getting a small bit. And at the other side of the aircraft. Oh, it's a lot clearer at this side. We'll sit on the left side. Colin, you're off to work. Yo, I share your pain, my friend Colin. Have a good morning. We could turn off the engine anti-ice and see what happens. That would be a good test, wouldn't it? Let's just get the bleed page back on. Alright, so that's the anti-ice. Turn off the engine 1, engine 2. Ah, there you go. Therefore it must be, presumably, as we turn that off. Yeah, that's the wing one. We don't need it now anyway. Sat is at -40. Paul, I could always remove those clouds. That's not realistic. Oh, hang on. Wing anti-ice is showing on at the ECAM, but off on the bleed and off on the overhead. Let me just... Oh, well, now I think there's some sort of key binding image. I've now got... because I used a keybind to turn those on, I reckon the way it interfaces Microsoft Flight Simulator is not right. So let me get rid of those. There we go. Yeah, it's just a hardware configuration issue. Chris, has the Pyrenees been covered in the world update as well? You need to fly there on your way to Palma. I think so. 24 Survival, thank you for following on Twitch. Appreciate that. So our arrival into Malaga, what's that going to be again? It's the VULP 2 Kilo, isn't it? So, oh, that's nice that everything holds itself now. It didn't used to. Where are the rest of the charts? Am I missing something? These can't be all of the charts for Malaga. How do we scroll up and down there? I should have a major list of charts. Oh, there it is. I'm having a blind moment. Let's just pin that. And arrival to 1, 2. Also want the taxi chart on there as well. Which one are we landing on? We're landing on runway 12, aren't we? That was a very misleading image. There we are. So that's what it should look like. I mean, that is a very unstable approach. We'll pin the parking stands. Not those ones. Not those ones. Those ones. And those ones. I like that you've got the ability to choose which ones you want. So these are the arrival ones then. We've got the star here. See what constraints we've got. So between flight level 100 and 250, what's the distance to go there? About 22, 33, 43, about 43 miles or so to go. Well, given that I need to slow down and get configured a tad earlier due to the terrain, I'd rather be close to flight level 100 than 250 at this point. Otherwise we're really going to struggle to get down and slow down. So we'll talk about that in a moment. I'm just going to go and check on First Officer George while we continue our climb to cruise level. Back in a moment. I can hear him barking away at the postman presumably. Oh, back with you now. We've sorted First Officer George out. We're still in the climb, I see. Oh, look, there you go, HD. He's already done the work for me. We want to be 6,000 feet at Mike Alpha Romeo. And, yeah, to be very truthful with you, I did sort of brief this myself before we started the flight. So, I'll just bring this in because it's just easier to see. So, we want to be 6,000 feet at Martin. You can see the arrows just here, look. So that's going to be basically my target. 6,000 feet at Martin. From there then, we've got... I actually just want to go and check the navigation display and make sure this is all coded incorrectly. So we've got Amigo, which is the initial approach fix, Martin, VOR. From there, we're going to leave Martin, getting down to 4,800 feet. Once we're 15.8 miles away from there, of course, we can then get down to 3,200. And then once we are 11 miles away on the ILS DME, we can then start to drop down to platform if required. By that point, of course, we'll have the ILS information glide slope, so we'll just hopefully be able to get a nice intercept on that. But look at the terrain that is above us, and this is where I think a lot of people coming into Malaga sometimes struggle if they're unaware that they need to keep quite high for a while, because this is sort of the big gotcha. You've got 4 miles to lose, what is it, 1,500 feet, so you need to be rather stable by that point. You don't want to still be doing 250 knots. Otherwise you're going to struggle. You're never going to bleed enough speed off then to go down the glide slope. So let's pick some sensible options then. If we're sort of green dot by Nipur, and then from there we'll get flaps 1 out, bleed off some speed, and then by 50.8 miles from Mar, that waypoint, we can then get down to 3,200 feet at flaps 1, pulling out flaps 2 as well when we see the glide slope indications. HD, always a good one for the newbies to fly. Yeah, exactly. A bit like Almira, to be honest, isn't it? Right, 1,000 feet to go, and then we'll be at our cruise. I had a nice big cup of tea before our flight started, and now I'm thinking I should have used the galley while sorting out First Officer George. So let's go through and check the coding then. Shall we just turn up a bit of the integral lighting? There we go. So let's see what we've got. We've got there's Vulp, Migo, Mar, and we can see we've got a constraint at Mar, should be there, 6,000 feet. Now there it says above 6,000 feet. I'm going to go and I'm going to change that to just 6,000 feet. And this is where the VNAV in the fly-by-wire, you need to be exact. Above 6,000 feet, that could be anything. It's not going to give you a good top of descent to be above 6,000 feet, because anything above 6,000 feet is then valid. So I've now changed that that constraint to be 6,000 feet at Mar. So there we go, that's now changed. You can see 6,000 feet at Mar. It's also in green, and we've got a magenta circle around it, which means we're going to make it. Let's just check this then. We've got Mar, we've then got Nepur. Yep. We've then got on the radial 148. I'm going to guess 15.8 is going to be rounded up to 16 miles from Mar, isn't it? Is P the 16th letter of the alphabet? I'm going to have to count these things. 5, 10, 15, 16. Yeah, there we go. Do you know what? I've only just realised that in the letters of the alphabet on the McDo are in blocks of 5. all these years flying, and obviously much easier to add up. And then from there we're capturing the ILS. HD says it's so easy that way. Even you can do that. We know you don't like to work hard, HD. Just smart. I can work much smarter now. How have I only just realised that these are in rows of 5? Anyway, we should be at the top of the climb now. We've not done the FMA calls. There we go. Alt cruise. Let's work out our own top of descent and see if the Airbus agrees. So what are we? Flight level 380. So we want to lose 32,000 feet. We're going to lose 32 times 3 is 96. We've obviously got to bleed off a bit of speed to 250 knots. So we can add 10 knots. Sorry, 10 miles to that. So which is 106 miles. 106 miles from Mar. Let's pop that in and see. So if we go to our fixes page, Barry, I'll show you that in a minute, as HD says, to show you how it's not a hard constraint, but it is advised. It's the minimum, isn't it? So pop that in there. 1126. Just check that is the right frequency. 1126. Yep. 110 mile radius ring from that. Yeah, so if you can see these small numbers here, so constraints you're all familiar with. Constraints are these big blue ones, but then you've got minimums. So the lowest you can get down to on this leg to 21 miles from Mar is 6,000 feet. Then again, you can't get any lower than 6,000 feet at Amigo. You can't get any lower than 6,000 feet at Martin or Mar, and that's a good place to be. You don't want to be any higher up. HD says this place will really sort out the guys and girls that haven't planned the descent very well. It's little gotchas like this where you've got to lose, what is it, 1,600 feet in 4 miles. You need to be nice and you need to be steady and flaps one out at least. So I want to be getting speed 180 by here. So I've also then got the ability to pull flaps 2 if I need. Otherwise, yeah, you're too high. Right, let's see if we can find a top of descent arrow. There it is. Not too far away, to be honest. Not too far away indeed. So we've got 160 miles for our top of descent, according to my planning anyway. So we're going to be landing runway 12. We're on the Vulep 2 kilo arrival. Transition altitude here is 6,000 feet. Platform altitude is 2,500 feet. There you go. So HD, yeah, 180 knots is a good shout. Barry, okay, that's nice and clear, but in that case, was it wrong in the McDo? Technically not. Technically it wasn't, because it was a minimum, not a constraint. These little numbers here are minimums, so the lowest you could be was plus 6,000. But if I want it to target 6,000, I need to go into the McDo and change it. And HD's just come up with a nice idea. Maybe type 180 knots in the flight plan, it will tidy up the VNAV a bit. Let's see if it does. So if we can type in a speed of 180 knots there, see if it does anything. That looks good, and let's see if anything like the top of the arrow changes. Might take a minute just to sort itself out, but we'll see. That's nice. Now, where was I? I was just going to continue to check a few things. Yes, our platform altitude is 2,500 feet. MSA around here, we've got quite a bit of terrain, as you can see. As we're coming in the sector, we're coming in to begin with is 6,800 feet on the way down, but then when we're on the actual approach, it does increase to flight level 185. Weather in Malaga is great. We're going to get weather request in a moment anyway, but runway visual range should be well above 600 meters. Cat C, so it's going to be 320. Airfield elevation is 44, and our missed approach. Climb on runway heading to 2.4 miles from Mike Lima Golf, then left turn to intercept the 102 Malaga Rayville to Zlivy, and then join the hold. Danny Rubble, that is correct. It would say plus 6,000, I think. HD's the guy to ask there. But as it was a minimum, it would make sense, wouldn't it? Now, HD's just asked, what is the other big threat on the missed approach? Let's just bring that chart back in. So, climbing on runway heading, then turn left to intercept the 102 radial into Zilvi. What are we climbing up to? Join the hold at 2,200 feet. That is a very low altitude to hold to, so you're going to have to keep hold of that speed. Let's also check what's our missed approach thrust reduction values. How would you fly the go around if you needed to go around at 3,000 feet? That's a good question because it's not something we've ever done. To be fair, thrust reduction and acceleration at 1,000, that's not too bad there. You could update that to 1044. So HD, I'm going to ask you to come in here. If we were at 3,000 feet and needed to go around, what would we do? We surely wouldn't... Well, you wouldn't continue the descent down to 2,200 feet, would you? Because that might... I don't know, that kind of goes against the grain. Would you go toga? God no. what would be the what would be the point of going toga? Surely you could just pull speed, select 250 perhaps, and fly off to the holding point. We're going to put that information in actually. So just in case anything does go wrong, we are going to fly to Zilvi on a heading of 102. Let's get the reciprocal of that in, which is 302, 392, 382. 382? What am I on about? 342. Too early for maths. First Officer George wants me again. I shall be back in a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we're delighted to hear that we're now at our cruising altitude, and we hope to give you nice views throughout the flight as we have good weather ahead and should be experiencing any turbulence. Of course, this means that you will not spill any of your drinks that you may have from the cabin crew as they begin to start making their way around the aircraft.
Oh, we're back with you guys. The only problem with early morning flights is lots of deliveries. So First Officer George goes nuts. Right, let's see what we do in HD. So talking about a missed approach here. So that missed approach altitude 2,200 feet, very very low. So if you had to go around at 3,000 feet, it sounds strange, doesn't it? Go around. You're at 3,000 feet. Go around. You expect nose up and off you go. But because the missed approach altitude is 2,200 feet, it is so low. You have to continue descending, but as HD says, you're just cancelling the approach. So turn off the approach button. Select an appropriate lateral vertical mode, so heading and VS, and then select an appropriate speed, gear up, and flap configuration. Next question: what happens when you overfly the airport, considering toga hasn't been selected? Now I'm going to guess the aircraft wouldn't know that I'm not guessing at all, actually, I know this. The aircraft wouldn't know that you're in a go-around phase, would it? It wouldn't have a clue, because it doesn't enter the go-around phase of the flight unless you select toga. So your aircraft would, track mileage-wise and flight plan-wise, all be off, because it'd be trying to take you back behind it. If you left yourself in navigation mode, then your aircraft would turn around. Bad juju. Don't want that. You don't want to be turning back round into the path of oncoming aircraft. Loving the scenery down there. How far are we away from our top of descent? What is interesting is to note which top of descent should we use, ours or the Airbus's? So the flight plan actually disappears after you overfly the aircraft because the FMGC thinks you've landed. Is that what happens? Alright, okay, so now you've got no flight plan and you've no missed approach path. In that case, that's where the charts come in. So you know what it is you're doing. And you know where you're going. I would at that point suspect if you know you're flying towards the correct holding position, you can then just type in direct, stack that in there, and enter the hold. And then you need to reprogram things. Bramashir, you know weather mods. This is just live default weather. HD, how would you get the flight plan back? Would you have to do a full init? Maybe not an init request. You could type that in manually, couldn't you? I mean, what would you type in? Malaga to Malaga and just add in the approach? Danny says the calculated top of descent by the aircraft, fun to test a little, right? Yeah, but I don't really want to screw it up on this one. Malaga's not the place. Rico87, good afternoon to you. Still showing that we're actually going to hit all these constraints according to the top of descent marker. So Gary says hit pause and have a beer. Danny, secondary flight plan. Well, sadly, not working in this aircraft. Speaking of getting ready for the descent, shall we grab the latest METAR? The init A page wasn't always available in flight. Was it not? That's interesting. That is interesting. So we're about 60 miles away from our top of descent. Let's go and see what the weather is at Malaga. So the wind is 140 at 8. Cab okay. No, it isn't. I'm reading the wrong one. The wind's 150 at 11. 150 at 11. Variable as well. Visibility ceiling is fine. Scattered 2000. Which means that depending on where the clouds are, some of those cloud tops could be obstructed. 15 degrees. Sorry, 16 degrees. QNH 1020. Let's go ahead and get all that information entered. Transition altitude is 6,000 feet. And the barrow is 320. Klaus Kroner, hello sir. How you doing? Tell you we can do as well. I was just going to do that, HD. Just if you just said that, I'm going to pop those winds in, see if it makes an effect. In fact, I know for a fact that it doesn't. FlyByWire have confirmed this. At the moment, entering the descent winds, I don't think makes a difference. So if we typed in 227099, and that's at 350. Be great when these do make a difference, won't it? 225086 310. Sorry, I've just realised you can't actually see me typing these in because of the position of the camera. 232040, and that's at 200. Yeah, I'm almost certain that these yet at the moment aren't taken into account. But they will be in the future, of course. So, yeah, we have just typed those in. And actually, you look at that, there isn't too much distance. Bearing in mind my top of the descent calculation was slightly on the conservative side. There's probably, what, 20 miles difference there maybe? Maybe a touch less? I think that's, I think that is really rather good. Ewald on Twitch, thanks for the follow, sir. And HD says, yeah, that top of descent looks spot on. So we will go with it. We'll see what happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, take full advantage of your tax-free allowances today and make some amazing savings with our boutique range. In your in-flight brochure, you'll find details of our award-winning selection of gifts, most with massive discounts, some of which are exclusive to you as an EasyJet customer. Make the most of your opportunity to shop and save from the comfort of your seat. If you'd like to see any products, have any questions, or would like to make great savings, then just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
So Barry, you say top of descent's not an issue, it's the descent profile afterwards. Well, that's what we're going to monitor all the way down, as HD's just said as well. Ewald, you thought to join in, but work on call decided otherwise. That's frustrating when that happens, isn't it? all this talk about the arrival, I tell you what we've not done. We've not done a fuel check, which, considering we're now on a new fuel factor, is quite important. So what have we got extra? We've got about 400 kilograms extra in total. So at Zalud we should have about 2.7 tons, maybe a bit over, and we've got 2.8. Alright, we've 13 miles to go, but that looks good. That looks very good. Gorgeous scenery, isn't it? Following the update. Nice sharp textures everywhere. So initially then, we can set our minimum descent for this part of it is going to be 6,000 feet. Now you can relax and start the descent, HD. Yeah, we've got at least maybe about 35 miles to sit back and relax. In fact, we can't relax. Where the hell are we going when we've landed? So vacating Echo 8 or Echo 9. From there we take, is it Delta to come back to the main terminal? So it'll be Delta Lima, won't it? Yeah, Delta Lima, and then Romeo 6 Charlie, presuming our max wingspan is allowed. Yep. So we're going to vacate right, and then we're going to turn right again off the rapid exit taxiway. You could technically set the platform altitude. Technically, we could now because we've entered in the hard constraint of 6,000 feet. It's not just going to continue all the way down. And HD, you want to stand 21? Oh, you would. Okay. In that case, we're going to take Delta Lima, and then we're going to take Alpha. Is it Delta Lima Alpha? There's no one-way arrows on here. Would you take Alpha? That's the departing runway then in use at the moment. Or can you go all the way through on Bravo? Down to stand 21. Looks like the taxi line stops there. Presumably, is that because of wingtip clearance here? So do we take Gate Golf 5 from Alpha? Delta Lima onto Alpha, and then Gate Golf 5. And we could take Alpha if no one's in the way. Good, good. Well, now we can relax for 20 mile. Less than 20 mile, about 15 miles. HD confirming we can't get through that gap there. We have to go on to Alpha due to the wingtip clearance. Fair enough. I don't think the area is visible tower to the tower. It's got a little grey line around it, hasn't it? That you can just see. The area of it not visible from the tower. Oh, what a gorgeous arrival it's going to be. Hopefully. Now we've planned it.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck once again, you will be delighted to hear that we will shortly be starting our descent into our destination, at which point the cabin crew will start preparing for our arrival. If you could please make sure that all the aisles are clear, the cabin crew are
Right, it's around 5 miles or so, and we'll begin to head down. I'm just also in the prog page of the McDo. I am going to put in that VOR so I can monitor that profile all the way down. The fact that I'm 95 miles away from it and I'm still at 38,000 feet does concern me a touch, but we'll see what speed we descend at. So let's go for it then. We're going to get down to 6,000 feet. Mac, Des, and flight level 60. To be fair, we don't want the flight level, do we? We want the local QNH, which is going to be 1020. So there's our vertical deviation yo-yo. At the moment we're about 1,000 feet above the profile, but we can increase our speed as we start heading down. And it says there we're going to intercept our profile in around about 10 miles. We'll see if that keeps moving further and further away from us. See what happens. You also have the VDEV, of course, in the prog page, as you can see it here. Danny, with the display so dark, you always see yourself with your head so close to the screen it hurts. I must admit, I've been zooming in a heck of a lot more recently, due to that. So just watching this, it's there's plenty of speed for it to gain to help us get down. Cloud says, hi all, nice to follow your stream while working from home and learn all the new things in the A320 NX that has come in last week and for the flight. You're more than welcome, Klaus. Does seem to me like it's struggling to do this. Not quite sure why it's reducing my speed to the lowest gate while we're still below. Sorry, whilst we're still above the profile. I'm wondering if it's trying to target that 250 knots. Although we are starting to catch up. Here we go, look, 700 feet, 600 feet. How far have we got to go? 70 miles. I'm about 20 miles off profile, I think, at the moment, and I've still got to get down to green dot, remember. Having said that, we're quite slow as it is anyway. Our track distance is 99 miles. So it's... Yeah, do you know what? Actually, now that it's starting to catch up with it, it's not far off. We're getting below the profile now. Let's see what happens. If you look now, it's just arrested the rate of descent slightly. And according to all the information I'm looking at on the flight plan page, we're still going to hit our constraints at the MAR VOR. And as you can see, they're still circled in purple, or magenta, sorry. And it also looks like it's going to target 250 knots at when we're 21 miles away from MAR as well. There is a speed constraint there. In fact, let's put those on. Just here, you can see. But we're actually on the yo-yo at the moment. The yo-yo looks centered and, well, as we said, we're just keeping mental arithmetic at the forefront of our mind at the moment. We've got 25,000 feet to lose. And we've got 85 track miles to run. So that is 10 miles grace. But yeah, the fact it does seem to be targeting the lower speed boundary, doesn't it? Or it did at the start. I can understand why it's doing it now, because we're just holding a nice profile. What's our ground speed? So around, for a nice rate of descent, a normal 3-degree descent, we'd probably be looking at around 1,200 feet per minute, wouldn't we? I think the fly-by-wire is trying to target a 3-degree descent path as well from the where it starts its top of descent. The real aircraft, if memory serve, I think from high altitude targets around a 2.5-degree descent path. It's exciting, this, isn't it, for a Monday morning? Got some cloud coming in now. What's that temperature doing? The fact that we're going to have to reduce to 250 knots later on now doesn't concern me too much, because we're only at what, about 266? I can also see some TCAS traffic ahead of us. So we should see managed speed drop to 250 knots here, according to that constraint. What's that speed constraint there of 180? Oh, we put that in, didn't we? That's okay. I'm thinking that's not on the chart. But no, that's alright. We've put that in. So, just to recall as well, as we get to Mar, 180 knots at Mar is a good shout. That gives us time to get some flaps out, sort ourselves out as well. Guessing this isn't the airport where CDAs are prevalent. HD, you're going to be 449 out of pocket at this rate. Why? What have you done? Have I missed something? Was I attending to Captain George at the time? Seems to hold that profile. We're now starting to speed up a little bit. Oh, you bet me £5 that I'd kill some fairies. I missed that. Let's see what happens in 6 miles when we get to this constraint. How quickly it bleeds its speed off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. If you could please return to your seats and ensure that your seatbelt is securely fastened. If you are traveling with an infant, please ensure that they are secured safely using the infant seatbelt harness provided. Please contact a member of the cabin crew if you require assistance. Thank you.
Oh, that's interesting, look. So we've now got the speed change as it's going to drop down to 250 knots. You can see the intercept path has come up because we're going to come off profile slightly. We're slightly below it, which is great. We've got new gates, of course, because of the constraint. Okay, approach checklist. So we've done our approach brief, seatbelt signs are on, minimums are 320 set. Engine mode selector is normal, EFB is stowed. Fuel looks good if we did need to go around, missed approach, etc. for another go. But then we're probably looking at that, probably only get one go. Seems to be keeping us on profile okay. Let's get those landing lights on. Temperature's warmed up, so we'll get rid of the anti-ice. I'm going to arm the approach mode, or sorry, approach phase, not approach mode. Whoops, I pressed that too many times. Didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to activate the approach phase just yet, approach mode just yet, so I've just pulled 250 knots for the time being. Otherwise, I'm going to slow down a bit too much. Although, actually, looking at that, no, that's fine. I can activate that now. That's okay. I think you've got to be safe with your bet, HD. Although, yeah, we're probably going to need some speed brakes. I don't know. I'm looking at that intercept place. Looking at that intercept, see if we can get it in. Depends how we're going to get down here. We're 1,500 feet too high. But we're going to start configuring. So we're going to get flaps 1, speeds checked, flaps 1. HD sat back munching popcorn. Okay. Thrust idle, open descent, flaps 2, speed 180 knots. Get us down. As we leave the Mar VOL, we can get down to 4,800 feet. This is far too stressful for a Monday morning. Is Mar an overfly point? Just looking at that track that it's got. Doesn't say so. So flaps 2 are out, we've got lots of drag now, helping to get us down. Still keeping us safe of the terrain. And this is why I see so many people getting frustrated coming into Malaga. Malaga seems like a safe choice. What's wrong with Malaga to go and fly to in the flight sim? Truth is, if you're having to land on one of these runways from the north, it's not straightforward, as we're attesting to today. Okay, let's continue our descent now. 4,800 feet. 4,800 blue. Do you know what? I actually think well, I think we're going to be okay. Just waiting for the ILS indications to come in. $30 track miles to go. I'm going to reduce that rate of descent a little bit. Yeah, and obviously it's a good clear day today. We can see outside, but you can see the terrain. Obviously. Nicely below that profile. Still nice and safe though, of course. We're not busting any minimums. Just getting a little bit bumpy as well, as we've got this terrain beneath us. You know, the VNav there didn't do a bad job at all, to be honest. Right, there's Alt Star. We're coming in 4,800 feet. Nice and stable in around about... Ooh, little gust of wind there. In 10 miles we can continue descent down to 3,200 feet, and that is where we need to be. That's where we need to be nice and steady and configured. Otherwise, we're not going to get down in time. So ILS chart. My ILS chart is it's on the screen next to me. I've not got it on the flypad. But yeah, India Mike Golf is identified. We've got the Malaga VOR as well, which we need for missed approach. And I did say that the clouds could start to conceal some of these hilltops. Do I have the aircraft symbol on the iPad? Do I? Oh yeah, so I do. I'd not noticed that. That is indeed useful. I'm presuming as well, HD, that ATC don't want you at 220 knots all the way down this particular part of the approach. I'm guessing that's not really feasible. So at about 5 miles we're going to drop down to 3,200 feet. We're going to lose 1,400 feet.
2,500.
Radar altimeter picking up the signals there. There you can see the glide slope now starting to come down. But we can't go any lower just yet. 1,600 feet we're going to lose, by the way. My maths. Look at that! That is stunning. The speed they're spinning. What's the wind? Currently got a headwind of about 26, 27, 28, 29 knots. Oh, it's gusting all over the place. Look at that. Coming up off the hillsides. And that's why we can't get down any lower until we've passed this particular point.
2,500.
We're now going to get down to, what did I say? It's 3,200 feet.
$2,500.
Okay, so we are about clear. We'll overfly this point and then get down to 3,200. Thrust idle, open descent, 3,200. Now this descent should keep us in line with the glide slope as well. To be honest, we're pretty much on that glide slope as it is. So I'm going to select a decent, sensible rate of descent. 1,000 feet per minute will be more than more than enough just to keep us teetering on that glide slope. No point getting too far beneath it. So, alt glide slope blue, Lockstar, Cat 3, dual, autopilot 1 and 2. HD's just said you might want to arm it. Yeah, I did that. Just as we got Lockstar showing, so we're good. How late were you going to leave it before you decided to remind me? Thankfully we got there just in time, but always interesting to know the thought process. And this is the approach, yeah. And this is why it's not the most straightforward of approaches. And there's our airport in front of us. Right, we have got. We're just waiting for the glide slope to come in. Any second now, we'll get glide slope capture, glide slope star. There we go, glide slope star. Now this is the fun bit. And now, because we're setting a missed approach which is lower than the altitude that we're currently at, presumably it's showing in white now, it's going to disregard it. We are not going to capture it, because obviously we level off, we don't want to do that. This may be a bumpier, windier landing than I had anticipated. We're being blown around all over the place here, aren't we?
Cabin crew, about 15 minutes to landing. Giving the cabin, thank you.
Malaga traffic, Alpine 3 for Alpha Mike, established runway 127 miles. So we are going to start now configuring, but we've got photogrammetry scenery as well for Malaga. So if anyone wants to check this out later, what an amazing approach. Right, aside from the wind, it should be plain sailing now. GIF, and on the spoilers, we're going to start slowing down, put that into speed. Flaps 3, speed's checked. Flaps 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing. Please ensure your cabin bag is safely stowed with your laptop inside. Your tray table must be
And
stowed,
flaps full.
armrest down, and window blind open. You now need to be seated with your seat.
Landing checklist. Cabin is secured. Auto thrust speed. Go around altitude 2,200 set. Ecam memo landing. No blue.
The toilets are no longer in service.
This looks so much better than the last time I came here following the world update. I think I've only landed on this runway once before.
1,000.
We've always come in over the Med previously. So that's 1,000 feet. I'm happy. Autopilot disengaged. I have control. Winds have dropped off as well as we've come away from the terrain. The winds are variable though, so keep that in the back of our mind. HD says runway 13 looks like it's there now. I'm using a mod, so this isn't default Malaga. So I don't know if the default does have runway 13 there.
500.
So
400.
500 feet.
400.
Approach is stable.
100 above.
Glide slope looks good.
300.
A little wind there, just got us to the left of the centre line. Let's get us back on there. I'm going to
200.
continue.
100.
Slight overcorrection, but we'll roll
50,
ourselves
40,
out.
30, 20, 10, 5.
A little bit of rudder as well in that flare just to maintain that centre line. Spoilers are deployed, reverse green. And 70 knots, reverses off. Let's get ourselves over to stand 21.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off. Portable electronic devices for messaging, calls or internet access may now be used. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you, checking in the seat pocket, underneath the seat and in the overhead lockers. Do take care when opening the lockers in case anything falls out. Smoking is not permitted until you reach a designated smoking area. On behalf of the captain and the crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today. Our ground crew will help you complete your EasyJet journey. For the latest news, promotions, flight and destination information, check out our official Facebook page, Twitter or EasyJet app.
And oh, HD, thanks so much, mate. You could have got away with that because I had no idea what you were on about as well. But anyway, HD, thank you so much. that is the first time HD has had to cough up. Really, really do appreciate that. No fairies killed. We're going to continue down here. We're going to get on Alpha and take gate 21. We're especially taking gate 21 now, thanks to HD's very kind donation of jam and toast tea. Jam and toast tea, that is a great idea, mate. Straight after this, I'm on it. So what do we think to that approach then, guys? It sounds so simple, doesn't it, going to Malaga? But there's some whopping great terrain in front of it if you're coming in at this... coming in from this angle, from the north. And I've seen so many people on the various forums say they couldn't get down at Malaga, etc. But yeah. HD says, see how much fun we can have at work. Okay, how many times have you bet the other guy that he can't get in without killing fairies? And HD also says VNAT looks spot on. It did. Maybe I overpanicked slightly when I saw as sort of like a couple of thousand feet, or I thought a couple of thousand feet maybe too high at one point, but it would have got us down. I think had I have left that, it would have got us down. I ended up pulling speed and going open descent, but it worked really nice. HD, you've lost as much as you've won. That's the main thing. Right, I'm now counting gates. Although I have no idea where we actually are. All these signs seem to be saying left is Bravo. That one's Tango, is it? I can't see any of those on the chart. I'm looking for some Romeos. I know we need to get past this this gate here. In fact, every sign is the same. Bravo, Tango, Bravo, Tango. Unless I'm just misreading it. Yeah, so we want to get in the back corner showing just there. What a great Monday morning. I've enjoyed that. Oh, actually, have we just gone past it? Was it meant to be here? Oh yeah, there's gate 27. Shucks. Spin her around. If only the stream wasn't 30 seconds delayed, HT could have gone there. Turn left. Of course, what we could do is we could get the parking charts on here now if we've got this. Because I've missed the... Whoa, that shouldn't happen. Why have we just gone off? Unless it was my... Okay, there's a bug in the system. I'm trying to steer hard right with engine 1 because I just turned off engine 2 in an attempt to save fuel. It doesn't work quite so well with just one engine. That didn't used to happen. We used to be able to do single engine taxi with no issues. What's going on here? No, it doesn't like that. Single engine taxi may be a non-starter for a while. They've done something. I don't know what the FlyByWire team have done, whether it's because it's the tiller option. Let me get off VATSIM because that's embarrassing. Right, we're off VATSIM now because this is just crazy. Yeah, so we... I thought we'll just do a single engine taxi in for the last little bit. Shouldn't be an issue. It's never been an issue before. But little bit of thrust will get us back on the back on the taxi line. Right, would you reduce that thrust now to idle? And we should just be able to coast our way in. But it's become very unstable. Yellow electric pump is on. So this is a free handcrafted airport from flightsim.to. I'm not sure what Malaga Airport looks like now following the world update. Wow, stand 21 really is tucked right in the corner, isn't it? And I can't turn right. Okay, there we go. Is there meant to be a jetty to gate 21 HD? It looks like I'm going to sort of dissect a building here. I don't think we'll go the whole way, shall we? Oh, there is a jetway, but... well, as good as the flight's been, I think the taxi is has been less than impressive. I'm putting the parking brake on. I'm done. Someone else can taxi that in. Right, let's shut down those engines. Or engine. Fuel pumps off. Get rid of that. APU bleed, APU's on. I can turn the beacon light off. Seatbelt signs can come off. I don't think I'm going to be getting any external power. I'm far too far away from the gate for that. Pop that to standby. Squawking 2000. Anyway. Oh, well. Oh, guys, I hope you've enjoyed that Monday morning stream. Something a little bit different, and I like doing approaches that aren't straightforward. Not that are completely daft, you know, something like a Pero or you know, Tivat, some of the real heavy Sea airfields, but Malaga on runway 13 isn't as plain sailing as you may be led to believe, as we've shown today. But I think we navigated that not too bad, and I thought top of descent VNAV actually would have worked out perfectly well if I hadn't have just decided to go into selective mode for a while. So thank you so much, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed that for a Monday morning. And HT, you're a legend as always. Always nice to win a bet. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday. Thank you to these Jets in Pilot channel members for your continued support. I'll catch up with you on Discord. I'm sure that's me done for the day here on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you so much for following. It's been a Monday morning pleasure. I look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon. Have a great Monday, folks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.